Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And we are live at the Connecticut Section AWWA Annual Technical Conference and Vendor Expo at AquaTurf. And with us in the house, ladies and gentlemen, from DN Tanks, Mr. Kevin Desjardins. Hi, Kevin. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm well, thank you.
It's good to see you. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule. I think we had good attendance today. What do you think?
Great attendance, yep.
All right, fantastic. So I know you've been with, how long you been with DN Tanks?
Coming up on 3 years.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Chris Hodges is a good friend of mine, and he's been with you guys, well, before they were DN Tanks.
Natgun.
That's
right.
And so forth, and you guys did a tank for us in Portland, so whatever. But anyway, so tell us, how did you get into the water industry?
So I found myself in the water industry really by happenstance. I was working for a small consulting firm where I was doing mostly site civil type of work, and wasn't feeling a high level of fulfillment in what I was doing.
Okay.
Ended up going over to a larger consulting firm, getting more involved in the stormwater, wastewater, drinking water design world.
Okay.
And found it a lot more challenging, a lot more engaging. And then in 2021, I was approached about a role at a company called DN Tanks, and I knew nothing about water storage tanks, but here I am 3 years later, and really loving what I do.
Great, fantastic. Now, when you graduated high school going into college, did you have any career aspirations as far as what direction you wanted to go?
I remember thinking that I grew up loving to play with Lego and wanting to do something that involved building.
Okay, as my grandson is a Lego man.
There you go.
It's just like, okay, he must have a million Legos.
Yep.
My God.
And I was the same way, and so I ended up at UMass Lowell in Lowell, Massachusetts, studying civil and environmental engineering.
Okay. Nice. Okay, excellent. So that being said, when you got involved with DN Tank, was that a big stretch as far as going into the sales part of it, or?
Yeah, it was certainly a different type of role.
Okay.
Right. In having been primarily a technical focus on the design side,
Yep.
moving to more of a business development type of role,
Right.
Was certainly a change for me, but one that I welcomed. I've always felt like, my people skills can set me apart.
Yep.
And this is a great opportunity to sort of marry the two worlds of
Right.
technical background, and I spend a lot of time talking to people, and I quite enjoy that.
Well, the biggest thing, and I tell my students in my classes, I says, never underestimate the power of networking, because
Oh, no kidding.
You cannot, you never know who you're going to meet or who you're going to shake hands with that you're going to possibly need down the road, or they're going to meet you, and to put a face with the name, shake somebody's hand, and look them in the eye. It's powerful.
Yeah, no kidding. And those are the things that my parents and grandparents taught me growing up, right?
Sure.
Firm handshake, look people in the eye, and here I am making good use of those life
Those
lessons.
skills, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So, so give us a little history on DN Tank. And I mean, basically, I think you guys are primarily precast for the most part. You don't do steel tank, correct?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay.
So DN Tanks, and you mentioned it earlier, but formerly Natgun.
Yep.
Founded in Wakefield, Massachusetts.
Yep.
We build pre-stressed concrete water and wastewater storage tanks in accordance with the AWWA D110 specification.
Okay.
So we're a specialty contractor. These are field constructed, pre-stressed, precast wall panels, pre-stressed wire wrapped around them, put them in permanent compression. So.
Right. Yeah. In fact, when you talk next time you see Chris, I'll tell him, because we produced a video for you guys. Okay. Yeah. That we took incrementally along the way as the construction of the high school, the High Street tank. So he's got a whole video of a whole kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, it's probably on the. We'll track it down.
Yeah, enjoy. But it was students were amazed, and he was so gracious in bringing us out there and showing us the process at every stage of the game. From laying the foundation to, get the pre-panels up and pouring and
Yeah,
wrapping.
and it's such a unique construction process. I do a lot of lunchtime presentations for owners, consultants, and I can show them all the pictures and PowerPoints in the world, but there's really nothing like getting out to the project site and see it live
Being done
in action.
Sure, sure, exactly. Now, primarily, do you use the same contractor as far as for construction?
So we self-perform the work of the tank itself,
Okay.
and it's on a project-to-project basis. Whether we'd pursue a project as a general contractor,
Okay.
and bring on subcontractors to do the associated site pipe work, or whether we would be a specialty subcontractor building the tank, working for a larger general contractor.
I see. Yep. Fantastic. So, tell me what kind of projects you're involved in now.
Yeah, absolutely. So this year we've got a good number of projects lined up here in New England for construction. I'm very excited to say we will be building the tallest pre-stressed concrete tank ever built in Bangor, Maine. It will be 100 feet tall.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay.
And so that will be the tallest tank ever built.
Okay.
Until we decide, there's an opportunity to build a taller one.
Okay.
That we feel good about. So.
How long do you think it'll take before you get cell tower antennas on it?
Yeah, we're putting the shotcrete pads on there. They're going to have them up there.
Yeah,
sure.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah. Another really cool project that is going to be finalizing construction this year. It's going to be a split season where we started the work last year. Is at the UNH campus in Durham, New Hampshire.
Okay.
It's a thermal energy storage tank.
Oh, okay.
And so it's a very niche application for our tanks.
Wow.
And it essentially works like a thermal battery.
Okay.
So they've got a chiller facility where they run chilled water out to their buildings for refrigeration, for cooling. And so if you think about what energy prices might do in the heat of summer, where they start to spike throughout the
Right.
day, instead of running their chiller facility during those peak hours, they ran it last night during off-peak hours.
Okay.
And pumped that chilled water into the storage tank.
Okay.
And then they draw from that.
Now, conversely, will they do the same for heated water during this?
This particular application will only be for chilled water, but
Okay.
we've done hot water storage tanks as well.
Okay, because it's just like, thermal heating.
Yeah, and the only difference really is a layer of insulation on the outside of the concrete.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Wow. Unbelievable.
So it's a very, like I said, niche application, but really cool project.
Wow. Wow. And now is this the first one of its kind that you guys are doing?
No, we've done we do a lot of them around the country. Typically more in warmer regions of the country, down in Texas, Florida. But this will be the first one in New Hampshire that
Nice.
we've built.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. So, now, is this one as a subcontractor, or is this one, are you the GC?
Yeah,
on
we're
this?
working for we're contracted to Consigli. Their Arch Energy Group is the prime contractor. It was a design build project.
I see. Fantastic. How many tanks have you got here in Connecticut? Do you know, offhand?
Putting me on the spot. I know we've got over 500 throughout New England, which includes Connecticut.
Okay.
I don't have a good number for you just in Connecticut.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I know you got two in Portland, so
There we go.
there you go. We got a 1.5 million. So the last one you guys built for us was the 500,000 gallon tank. And we had 1.5 million gallon years ago, and I just retired from the water department after 50 years, and we had 1 million gallon tank, and then the 500,000 gallon tank became in disrepair. They took it out of service, and we had engineers said, you don't need a second tank. The 1 million gallon tank. I said, well, okay. Well, I beg to differ with you, but anyway, so it went that way for probably about 10 years, and so then they said, well, we're gonna tear the tank down. I said, okay, do that. So, but I think we're going to build another tank. Oh, really? So they ended up putting another 500,000 gallon tank up, which they should have had. I mean, my God, they could. Before, we used to clean the tanks. We used to take one out of service and go in and clean it, let it draw it down. Okay, clean it, fill it back up, take the other one down, clean it. Now, before they had to, have divers come in,
Sure.
do the cleaning and the whole 9 yards, and so,
Yeah.
which cost them, as far
And gives you just gives you the operational flexibility.
well, and plus the redundancy.
Yep.
You get to a point where, God forbid you have we have a two pressure zone system. If you have a massive leak on a high zone, and you can go through a million gallons of
kidding.
water pretty quick.
Yep.
So forth before you get things shut down.
Right.
Or whatever. So, so do you have your engineering degree?
Yep. I'm a registered professional engineer in the state of New Hampshire as well.
Okay, and what's your engineering degree in?
Civil engineering.
Civil engineer.
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fine. That's great.
Yep.
So the sales industry, the water industry. Again, the premise of this whole podcast is trying to get younger students, high school students, college students attracted to the careers in the water industry. So if you were to, give some advice to a high school student or a college student, what would you potentially tell them about the water industry, about, what you do?
Sure. And I think one thing that's worth mentioning is, at least when I was in my undergraduate courses, I didn't really have a good idea that there even was a water industry. It's kind of a hidden industry, right?
It is, and that's the whole premise that I started this thing, because most of the people that I've interviewed, and I'm just south of 150 interviews now, people that I've interviewed gotten into the water industry by happenstance.
Right. Right.
My father worked for a guy. He knew this guy. This is, hey, check this job out or whatever, and they got it. It's not something that I got a high school say, I'm going to go for a job.
This is what I want to do.
This is what I want to do.
And I'll give a shameless plug here for the University Outreach Committee that I chair for the New England Waterworks Association.
Okay.
And the Connecticut Section YP group has a university outreach program as well.
Okay.
But the objective there is to really get into the classroom and make these students aware of the industry.
Sure.
And so I think if I was talking directly to some of these students right now, I would first of all make them aware that this is the type of industry that can provide some really good long-term job security.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you talk to anyone at the conference today, there's a lot of work to do.
Oh, and there's no people to do it.
That's it.
Unfortunately, you get the gray tsunami, or in this case, my case, it's the ball tsunami. You get to a point. The retirement rate. The average age statistically in Connecticut for a water operator is 53 years old.
Right.
So, there's nobody coming up, behind, to fill those ranks up.
And you mentioned you were in your position for 50 years.
50 years, yeah.
So it's also the type of industry that you can be involved for your entire life. And we're talking about Chris Hodgson and his involvement for his entire career.
Yeah.
The other thing that I think is important stressing is, you want your time and energy to go to, at least I do, towards something positive.
Yeah, exactly.
And at the end of the day, our mission is to deliver clean drinking water.
That's what it's all about.
That's a noble profession. And whether it's, whether it's on the operations side working for a water department, whether it's on the design side in a consulting firm, or on working for a contractor building water storage tanks.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, that's the goal.
Well, and as you said, it's a secure occupation. It's not something that can be outsourced. You need boots on the ground. Okay, you need people to design it. You need people to build it. And the water umbrella, as I say, is a large umbrella, both in water and wastewater. Okay, you've got engineers, you've got operators, you've got consultants, you've got HR people, you've got accountants, you've got legal people. You name it, it's in there. It's like the spaghetti sauce. It's in there. So there's no way that you can't touch any occupation somehow, one way or another, connected back to the water industry. Right. It is there. It just is.
And so many people don't know about it, right? Because you think of all the infrastructure that's hidden, pipes that are buried under the ground. Well, ironically, the storage tanks are one of the most visible parts.
Yes.
Which is why there are some projects that receive an immense amount of backlash, tank projects, because it's the only thing that people can actually see.
Well, exactly. And the aging infrastructure is a inherent problem throughout the United States. I mean, we're dealing with 100-year-old water mains, and it's unfortunately, with the wastewater and water pipes, it's out of sight, out of mind. So,
Right.
unless you've got a hemorrhaging water main break that destroys a lot of roads and so forth, okay, it's fine.
Sure.
And realistically, there's got to be an asset plan to start, changing these things out and bringing the assets, the up to date.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly. So, I know a lot of what you do as far as what do you think so far the At Cave so far?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, the foot traffic, through the exhibit hall is fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's 8 to 3 p.m. It's sort of a condensed day, but it's one of the most valuable days of the year for me.
You get a lot of return on investment, I think.
Oh, absolutely. And get to see all my Connecticut friends for a day is fun.
For sure. So anyway, all right. One of my personal things, my other alter ego, my alter life, my degree is in music, so I own a music store and a music school and so forth. So I asked, what kind of music do you like?
Oh, what do I like? I like a lot of classic rock.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Any
Queen.
Queen. All
Love
right,
Queen.
there you go. 80s man. That's it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
forth. Go from there. What was the first concert you went to?
Wow, first concert I went to. There's a band there's a Canadian band called Great Big Sea.
Okay.
And if anyone's listening to this, I would encourage you to look up their music. It's a good combination of sort of rock and you can hear a lot of Irish influence in
Really?
it too. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff.
Nice.
So I think I've seen them a couple times. Once might have been in Lowell. That probably wasn't my first, but that's the most memorable one that comes to mind. So
well, that's all right. All right. So if you got stuck on a desert island, you had what would be your desert island album?
Oh boy, my desert island album. That's a really
going back to albums now.
Yeah,
vinyl is coming back.
Well, that's the thing is the days of Spotify is more like playlists.
Yeah.
It's like the playlists. Oh boy, there's a playlist I've got on and it doesn't answer your question, but there's a playlist I've got on Spotify called "Have a Great Day."
Okay,
and it's awesome.
Oh, okay.
You can go look it up if you're on Spotify.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Check it out. So, all right, fantastic. All right, next desert island question: What if you're stuck on a desert island? What food could you eat every day?
Oh, pizza. Yeah, that was an easy. Yeah, that was an easy one.
I think I've done 8 interviews today, and I think. We had 5 pizzas.
Yeah.
I think that's it's a no-brainer. So, what do you do for hobbies?
I'm an avid golfer.
Oh, okay.
My golf game has taken a bit of a hit in the last year. I've got a 1-year-old baby girl at home, and so golf has fallen a little bit by the wayside.
Okay.
And I'm completely fine with it.
Okay. That's all right.
We got a dog. I like taking our dog Coda out for
little
walks at the park and
nice.
Some hiking and
good, fantastic. Well, spend time with the little ones because they don't stay small long.
Oh, no kidding.
They grow up so quickly.
And a year ago, the At Cave conference was, I think, the last work-related thing I did that was outside of 20-minute radius of my house because we were on
baby duty.
We were
baby watch.
Yeah, we were getting close to the due date, so March 21st will be your birthday. So
there you go. Fantastic. Well, great. All right, Kevin, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate taking the time. And next time Chris is in the office, please give him a shout. Tell him I said hey, and we'll go from there. So, all right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes this episode of the future of the water and wastewater industry and the careers you didn't know about. And Mr. Kevin Desjardins is in the house from DN Tanks. So, Kevin, thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of the show and enjoy that little baby girl.
thank you very much, Dave.
Okay.